Start. Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Joey at Boomtown. We're gonna get going here in just about a minute. Gonna let a few more people. I'm seeing people fall in. We got a pretty packed show today. We got a lot of information to go over. Really excited. A lot of new things on Poynt. Sales have been booming, especially we had an incredible March. I don't know exactly the numbers in April yet, but it seems like everybody's selling a lot. So that's been awesome. And let's give it about just another 30 seconds or so. Let some people jump in here. And you should see my screen, Poynt Sales Webinar. Let us know if you have any difficulties. You can chat in. And all right, let's get it going. So thanks again, everybody. This is Giuseppe Marzelli, co-founder of Boomtown. Obviously, a lot of you know me from kind of running the Poynt channel here. I'm really excited to go over some more resources that we have available for you. Obviously, we want to make sure that your salespeople are empowered to sell more, that you're getting all the information you need. Just a heads up for any of our new resellers, these webinars are focused around third-party apps, new features. If you need sales training or operations training, reach out to pointsales@goboomtown.com. I try to keep these around a half hour. Some people get upset that I move fast, but the truth is, I know that a lot of you want to get back to selling. And if you have a sales mind, of course, I might talk fast, but feel free to reach out if you miss anything or have any additional questions. Always happy to jump on a call with you after the webinar. Also, let's go over a quick agenda for today. Basically, what you have here is that we're going to go over the sales knowledge base. So I built a knowledge base that you can go into. You can basically search through all this different information from your computer, or it's mobile optimized, so your sales reps can search for information out in the field. We'll go over that. I got some updates. We're going to go over eHopper, which is going to be a guest next month, which is basically a POS application on Poynt. There's a new loyalty feature. We're going to go into depth on what that is. And then excited to also announce there's a bar tabs and pre-authorization application on Poynt now. I'm going to give you a quick preview of that today, and then I have a guest speaker next month to go over that in detail. Again, if any of this pops out to you, you need it right away, feel free to let us know. We'll definitely get you what you need. But again, today we're going to focus on basically we have a guest speaker from Poynt, and then we also have a guest speaker from cashdiscount.com, kind of talking about the state of cash discount, where things are, how groups are still making a lot of money off of that, and then we can go into FAQ and questions. Feel free to ask questions. You can chat them in. You can, if we typically don't go over pricing because a lot of you guys are different channels. But if you have any questions that we can't say out loud, we'll basically just email you back and we'll respond to you. And then let us know if there's anything that we can do to obviously help in that regard. Feel free to visit our Boomtown Sales Hub. Here you'll have all the third-party applications. There's marketing one-pagers on all the third-party apps, contact information. We have a lot of marketing material. These past webinars, we do send out this deck. We do record this webinar this morning and the afternoon session. And then again, I want to get you access to our Sales Hub. What's nice about the Sales Hub that we basically built out, or the knowledge base, is that you have sales verticals. You can actually give it to your reps, and if they're, I have a small retail, I have a high-end salon, I have a full-service restaurant. They can go through features, but they can also go in depth on how to sell the different verticals. So this is going to be really important for your agents and sales reps, and I'd actually have them bookmark this. Of course, we're able to help, but when they're out there on the fly, and maybe someone asks you, do you have gift cards on Poynt? We go through all the different options. Is there recurring payments? What are the options for that new feature, pre-authorization and bar tabs? All this is in the sales knowledge base. So I basically built this out myself. It has a search bar that's universal. You can go through and look for a whole bunch of different things. And then if you have any questions, of course, you can email pointsales@goboomtown.com. But really excited to get this out to the channel. My team actually uses it. So our support team, anytime they have any sales-based questions, right, we're supporting a merchant, they're saying, hey, do you have, option A, B, or C, or these features? that's when we typically will, they'll utilize this knowledge base as well. So this is very sales focused. It's not support focused. It's very the how-tos, how to sell it, what there is to sell. So I just want to make sure that you guys can bookmark this. And again, we'll send out this deck with all the information. ETA Las Vegas next week. Really excited about that. We're hosting a happy hour with Talent POS, which is one of the POS applications on the Poynt terminal. Feel free to RSVP and head over there, meet the team. We'll have a bunch of people from Boomtown, some members of the Poynt team as well. And then I'll be speaking on a panel called Selling and Supporting Software-Enabled Payment Solutions and how the industry is evolving. So if you are there, feel free to stop by our booth. We'd love to see you at the panel I'm speaking on. I'm speaking with a few different wonderful groups that all can talk about our experience in selling these I should say sophisticated payment solutions. So a lot to learn next week in Las Vegas. I know Poynt will be there too. They'll have their own booth. So come on by and say hi if you're around. And then of course feel free to schedule a meeting with me if you want to do a formal meeting where we can actually sit down and go through things in detail or our partnership. Happy to do that as well. So let's go over a few different updates real fast. One thing I want to call out is these features are available. Some of them are in pilot, some of them are ready to go. So if you see any of these features and you really want to learn more, I do have articles on each of them in our sales knowledge base. But basically offline payments, inventory management, invoices, loyalty, recurring payments. We're going to talk about loyalty in detail today, but these are all things that you should know about and that we're going to talk about a little bit more extensively at the end when we speak with the Poynt team. And a reminder from last month, a reminder I keep going over because it's super important. This team has 3G, basically micro SIM cards, and they have a 4G plan. So reach out to them. They can actually make you they can provide you as a reseller the option to sell SIM cards to your merchants. So if your merchants have 3G terminals, great option. Again, I'll make sure this deck goes out, but do not miss this as an opportunity to obviously make more revenue with providing 3G solutions. And then Spacepool, basically Matt and his team have developed these hardware pieces that can hold the Poynt terminal, the Poynt 5 and the Poynt P16. It's secure. It's basically mounted to a table. A lot of great solutions for the Poynt terminal. So really excited about that. I'm actually going to have some of them at my booth at ETA, but reach out to Matt if you're interested in getting this these hardware pieces. I don't know if they're going to be selling it at TPG, but what I do know is that they'll have at least next steps on where you should get these hardware pieces. But I do hear a lot of merchants say like, I want to mount it to the table. I don't want someone to walk off with my terminal, and so that should be really easy for your team to be able to basically get in contact with their team and be able to purchase. You hear me speak about it a lot. Is the Manglement product, which is basically for high-end salons. What's really important right now is that in California, basically, they've come out with a new law that what it's going to do is it's going to definitely put the microscope on a lot of, I should say, salon and spas that have, independent contractors, employees that are using like Venmo, Square. They're kind of breaking the rules. They're not really following, I should say, following protocol and taking payments in an illegal fashion. And so, as you guys know, Manglement's a great team to work with. They help do demos. They help do your sales with you. They do online scheduling integrated with the Poynt terminal. And it's kind of a replacement for MindBody and Booker. But I wanted to call this out because it's kind of a sales tip in California specifically. Right now is a great time to go after a lot of these spas and salons with multi-mid. It is on in the Poynt native software you can do multi-mid, but they just released it on Manglement as well. So Manglement, again, is more built for high-end salons that need scheduling. But with this new, decision that the Supreme Court made, it's going to have a lot of impact on these merchants. And the multi-mid should take care of, all the, I put a little bit more definition here if you guys want to read on your own time, but, a lot of the Manglement merchants have said this is game changing, the multi-mid, capabilities on Manglement. So reach out to Daniel at manglement.com. Again, this is more of just a really calling out a good sales tip. In California, salon and spas, again, they're under the microscope. They're going to be hassled unless they are doing payments correctly, and they need to start doing multi-mid. They need to start tracking taxes, tips. They can't just be Venmoing from customers, Square. They will get flagged, and those fines are pretty hefty. So great time to get in front of California spa merchants and get in front of them to. I would probably start a campaign if you can in some of the metropolitan areas, and start with Poynt with the multi-mid and also the Mangoman software. Again, Daniel at mangoman.com. Their team is wonderful to work with, great for joining your sales calls, and also really good support. Next month, we're going to talk about eHopper in detail, full POS application on the Poynt terminal. They do a really good job with if you need inventory management, if you need a little bit more, all in one kind of, cash discount, loyalty, gift cards, a whole bunch of different things. Here are some of the verticals that they've specialized in. It does cost more to have the eHopper application on your terminal, but that cost is typically comparable to other mobile point of sale solutions. So again, a lot of great value by selling the Poynt terminal and having these POS applications on there. They got a great team for sales as well. I like third-party apps that actually help you sell. I like the third-party app teams that actually help you with support. Their team is kind of full hands-on, so you should be focused on just building those relationships, selling, and they'll kind of take everything from making sure that they're really catering to your account and making sure that account is supported, and then hopefully you're spending your time increasing sales. But I know that they've had a great success again with the inventory management. It's a full integration to the Poynt terminal and then the Poynt P5, which is the handheld device. And they've they work out referral programs with their resellers. They have a lot of great features that have, I should say, helped the resellers sell against, I should say, mobile point of sale solutions with the Poynt terminal. If you need to get going right away, Matt right here is information. Feel free to reach out. They will also be at ATA Transact. So I have their booth here, but Matt's great to work with. I've had him join a lot of sales calls with sales reps reaching out. Let us know if you need any help, or if you just want him to do a demo for your team and see what eHopper is all about. We'll do it next month on this webinar, but I just wanted to call that out. All right, Poynt loyalty. So I'm really excited about this. Excuse me. And so the reason I'm really excited is, I can name 5 payment companies here in the Bay Area that make millions just off the idea of using loyalty and payments together. And the fact is, Poynt is building a native loyalty feature that we are releasing right now for pilot merchants, which means that your merchants can sign up. We'll have kind of a protocol on how to go about that. But we're going to go through this loyalty feature in detail. And I believe that the loyalty feature will end up costing a little bit more. It'll probably be an app that they download, but there's a lot of value here, and you can easily prove an ROI. So, if you hear your merchant say, well, Square has loyalty for free, that's actually 100% incorrect. Square does have some loyalty features, but their marketing platform, their email marketing platform, all the loyalty features, those do cost more. I know this for a fact. If your merchant maybe is a high cost merchant or got grandfathered into something, I don't know, but at the end of the day, typically loyalty does cost more. I don't think it's going to cost a lot more on the Poynt terminal, but let's go over what this is going to look like. So the really neat thing is it's actually going to calculate rewards through your credit card without you really having to do much. So if I go into a cafe, I spend $10, and then I go in the next day, spend $30, next day spend $5, it's actually accruing all that information together by the last 4 digits of my credit card. So whenever I opt into the program, it already knows how much I've spent. It's already basically classifying me as a customer, and it's also seeing kind of the total, and we'll go over what that looks like. It's also going to have easy redemption. So the idea is if I create a reward for my customer, it's easy redemption. The customer checkout, they'll see on the Poynt terminal that they're eligible for a reward. And then there's also digital loyalty, where basically pop-up messages for the little customers' phones when they walk by. So if they go by the location, or if based on their behavior, they can actually get notifications that there's a reward available to them. And so that's all going to be available on within this platform. And then the customer management, I was super adamant when I was speaking to the Poynt team that they had to have this, where basically you can go into Poynt HQ and you can see all your customers. You can have a list of their emails, phone numbers, and have that information be extractable. So if you're not just using the Poynt loyalty program and you're not using the rewards redemption, you're at least capturing all your customer data and information, which I think would be ideal. So let's go to the next slide here. When you start basically accruing points, you're going to see that this is what it's going to look like from this is what it's going to look like on the screen at the customer checkout, right? So the customer is going to see on this that they're almost there for the rewards. And then when they actually want to join, they can click join, and they can actually tie credit cards together with their phone number. So again, this is calculating the reward by the credit card, but then if they want to actually join with their phone number, now they've actually opted into the program. Now we have their phone number, so we can actually, again, direct messages to them if we need to through SMS. But we also make it easy for the customer that every single time they come in, they can use their phone number instead of just relying on their phone number, instead of just relying on basically the credit card information, which makes it a little bit more seamless for the customer. I think people like to attach their phone numbers. I've seen a lot of different loyalty programs, again, here in the Bay Area, and the phone numbers, I think they feel like the less threatening. You put in your phone and you can keep calculating what your rewards are. I think I went backwards, sorry. And then basically once you redeem your reward, or you've earned a reward, it will calculate that automatically. So once I'm at the payment checkout, it'll just say to me, hey, you have a reward, you can redeem the reward. It will show on the back end for your customer, for the merchant, that you've actually redeemed the reward. So obviously there's no doubling up on rewards, but you can also set what the reward is. You can set what the stages are of getting that reward as well. That is all available to you as the merchant, and that's all kind of customizable for you as well. And then basically iOS users will be able to download a digital loyalty card to view their rewards and point status. This is a really easy way for them to do that without having to download another app, or having to kind of calculate things on their own, or even keep things seamless for both the customer and the merchant. So this is going to be on iOS, of course, but basically in your wallet, you'll have a redemption card. You can kind of see how many points you have on there. And through that digital card, which is going to be really helpful, is you can see how many, how close you are to your reward. And then basically what happens is when you join with your phone number, it's going to send you a text over there in the top right corner. That text is basically how you opt into the program, which should be pretty easy for your team to do. So let us know if you have any questions on that. Pretty straightforward. On the back end, which is great, you'll go to the customer tab, which will be a whole new customer tab in Poynt HQ. You'll go there, you'll see how many visits the customer's made, how many points they've basically, total spend, how much money they spent there, which is great because now you're getting their email information, their phone number. If you have an email marketing platform separate, you can start extracting that information and utilizing that. But again, a lot of value here in the loyalty altogether for your merchants, selling to your merchants, and also your merchants, building an ROI with their business. They can see how many rewards have been redeemed. I think anyone who is a loyal customer is typically looking for some type of loyalty in exchange, and especially reward for being a good customer. And then you can automatically add points too if you want to add points where it's like maybe they've been a great customer, you want to get them to a reward faster. You can add points manually right there with that button. So that should be pretty straightforward and easy to do. Let me see here. When you open up the customer tabs again, you're going to have a download CSV where you can actually extract a lot of information. So there's no email marketing platform built into this, right? So I can just start building an email campaign, but I can extract that information. So if I use MailChimp or Constant Contact as a merchant, I have the ability to obviously go in there and see my customer base, build data on my customers, and then extract that information to apply to another marketing platform that maybe I'm using as a customer. But again, what this is built for in the native software Poynt is the loyalty feature of redeeming rewards. It is based off the transactional data, but then the customer can opt in with their phone number. And again, just kind of repeating this, so it makes sense to a lot of people who are viewing. And then, you can start customizing what the loyalty program looks like. So, what the screen, basically is exhibiting with, how many stars you need to reach, what the reward is, a free drink, free sandwich. That's all easy for you to customize. So if you look on that computer there, you'll see Poynt Loyalty. That will be basically another tab now on the terminal once you've opted into this program. And again, there are so many, payment companies and marketing companies here in the Bay Area I look at, and they make so much money off really simple loyalty tools, nothing more extreme than what we're doing right here. So the fact is, you have an opportunity to be really competitive and, utilize a tool like Poynt Loyalty to be, huge value for a lot of merchants as you're, selling across different verticals, and you're selling against different the different competitions out there. But I'd say altogether the loyalty program is pretty robust. We're really excited to kind of get it out there. Let me know, pointsales@goboomtown.com. Feel free to reach out to me, and we'll get you going on that. We'll grandfather a few people in, but we want to get people going right away. Looks like we do have a question. We'll go over a few questions on just the loyalty to start. So basically, you mentioned, give me a second, I'm gonna read through some of these questions. Mention points earned on each swipe. Yeah, so sorry, I did mention that each of the points accrue by swiping the credit card. Of course, that's for inserting the credit card as well for PIN debit or chip and PIN. So I do apologize for that. Yeah, it should, any way you do your payment, whether it's NFC, whether it's chip and PIN, swiping the card, it will accrue and calculate all those payments. Yep, so within the range of the store, do pop messages occur? So yes, when customers walk by, I don't have the exact metrics on this yet, but if they walk, within a certain distance of the terminal, they'll get a message on their phone. You can set that up. We'll have more detail on what that looks like in the specifics. I think we're still kind of understanding what that's going to look like. There is no gift card option on this loyalty program, so Manassas gift card. There is Factor 4 gift cards, so I would reach out to them. They kind of have their own loyalty platform. If you go to our sales hub, Factor 4 gift cards is a great solution for that. And then give me 1 second. Does Poynt OS offer any inventory management, or is that only available on eHopper? So going back to eHopper real fast, inventory management is better on eHopper because you can hold up to 40,000 items. The Poynt terminal does have an inventory management option for showing you how many items you sold and how many items you have left in stock, but there is only a 550 item cutoff. Loyalty is available now. Somebody's asking that. Reach out to pointsales@goboomtown.com. I will get you started with that. Again, we got to have merchants opt in. We can't just throw it to every single merchant yet. The loyalty option is going to cost more. We don't know what that is yet. We're probably going to, grandfather the early customers in. Yes, it will cost, another monthly fee. And then a cash sale, yes, you can apply points. So that button I showed you, I'm going to go back to it on the screen. Give me 1 second. If they did a cash sale, you can just add points to the, to the customer's profile, and you can manually do that rather than, and then one thing they can do too is if they're opting in with their phone number and they're using their phone number at the checkout, excuse me, they're going to be able to also, any type of payment, they'll be able to utilize the loyalty program. Just give me 1 second, just making sure I got every question in here. Somebody just asked, we integrate with Dinerware, Aloha, and Micros. Yes, that's the eThor product. Again, reach out to pointsales@goboomtown.com. We're not talking about that in detail today, but we have talked about it many times. I can speak with you more about that. Let's talk about pre-authorization and bar tabs. I'm really excited about this. So basically, on the Poynt terminal available today is Rocket Tabs application. With this, you can pre-authorize a credit card with any of the processors that are available on Poynt. You can build a customer tab. It works off the existing Poynt catalog, so it's really easy. Once you build your catalog, it's going to actually reflect in here. But there's a lot of great things you can do in here, and it's really simple to use, which I absolutely love. You can name the customer. You can start a tab. If you authorize the credit card, it's going to automatically pull the customer name, and you're going to see the last 4 digits of the card number. But it's basically when you press authorization, you just go in there and you can it'll pull up the information, and then when you go to the catalog, you can start selecting things to add to the tab, and then when you pay, you can obviously check out the customer, and then they can do they can check out on the screen, they can check out via the receipt and add a tip. All of that is available on the Rocket Tabs app. I put contact information in here, so if you want to get going on this right away, definitely reach out, and their team is ready to get this going. We have some merchants already trying it, so really excited about this. You can add, they're going to have surcharge and cash discount built in about 2 weeks. But also when you scroll through, you can see all your customers. You can see what tabs are open and which tabs are not. Easy to search for customers. It's all in alphabetical order. Great for bars. Great for anybody who has the Poynt terminal, but they want to do more pre-authorization and tabs and keeping the tab open. All of that is available with the Rocket Tabs application. So kind of its own POS, which is going to be pretty great. One second. And then, guys, I'm getting more questions about the loyalty. Feel free to reach out, pointsales@boomtown.com. I'm getting repetitive questions, so I have answered a few of these already. So feel free to reach out again, and I'll make sure that you get those answers. So basically, the authorization, it doesn't when you do the authorization, it doesn't. Someone asked me how much does it authorize the credit card for, and so it's just going to authorize the credit card, and then you can start adding up the tab, and then you can check out when you're available to when obviously the customer is available to do so. But this is going to be, we're going to go over this in detail. We're going to show you guys a demo. One thing I've provided is kind of a how-to article on this deck, kind of a promo video, a how-to video. So again, we're going to have Rocket Tabs and eHopper as guests on next month's webinar, but I want to talk about it now because it is available. And so again, if you have any customers who are dying for pre-authorization or bar tabs, of course, a great solution for you. All right, so I had to find Bob here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to unmute Bob from the Poynt team. Give me one moment. And let me just see if I can get him. And Bob, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, you should be good. And let us know, guys, if you can't hear him. I believe that I just unmuted him, so he is good to go. Bob, yeah, sorry, I had you under as an attendee and not the panelist. So thank you for joining us today, and obviously great to have you.
Great. Thank you very much for having me, Joey. Good morning to everybody. First of all, I'd like to mention that we, Poynt, will also be at Transact. We'll be at booth 1712. And please come by because we'll be demoing a lot of our app developers like Talik and eHopper and others. Will be showing mission control and a lot of the features and functionality of our product. And we'll have a lot of product experts around that can answer your questions and fill you in. I'll also be speaking on a panel, DevX, the race to winning the developer experience. And so I'd like to welcome you all there to listen to the panel discussion.
Absolutely, and excited to have you guys at ETA. I know that we've had a great success in some of the other shows and just kind of meeting a lot of these wonderful resellers that we have on here. But excited to have you here, Bob. We have a lot of groups that ask me questions on kind of what's the forecast for Poynt, what's ahead of us, right? They've done really a great job at selling the Poynt terminal, and they just want to not just hear from Boomtown, but understand from Poynt at a high level, kind of what the forecast looks like in regards to the program, kind of building out the new features. And so I have a few questions for you today. I would love to go through. If that sounds good.
Sure, go ahead.
So one thing yeah, of course. One thing I want to ask is basically, how is Poynt helping change the way payments are sold to merchants today? What are, as you guys are sitting in your office internally, what are some of the things that you feel like are kind of a highlight, with how Poynt's helping these merchants?
Sure. First of all, we kind of believe if you're still focused on payments, you're missing the big picture. What we really are helping merchants, people who are selling payments do is enable merchants, your merchants, to do much more than accept payments and give them a platform for growth. I mean, a lot of times we're known for these really nice looking terminals, but it's the platform behind that really enables a lot more feature and functionality to be offered to your customers, so that you're no longer just selling on rate, you're selling on value. And we provide you the flexibility really to work across many different verticals. Joey, you mentioned a number of them before, but I really haven't found a vertical that we haven't been able to tap. Retail, restaurant, health and beauty, auto repairs, nonprofits, lodging, and events. Actually, you mentioned the eHopper before. They just completed their integration into the Poynt 5, and they're going after a lot of key events, which I think is very exciting. So, I think really understanding the products and features that you can begin to offer to your merchants, so that you can become a consultant, you can help advise them how to grow their business and be more flexible. How can you really help them deliver a checkout experience like an Apple Store, or how can you offer pay at the table? How can you help them manage their store remotely? All of those questions and a lot more. You can really help bring them into the future and be more competitive in their retail format.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I always tell about the resellers, Bob, is that, as an ISO, a bank, a reseller of Poynt, you have a competitive advantage because you can start with the terminal and there's so much value with third party apps and kind of, the native features that you can upsell to more sophisticated type merchants, right? There's no doubt that the Poynt terminal by itself is a great glorified terminal, but it also is POS centric and can sell to a lot of different types of merchants. How does the Poynt team in your eyes help ISOs compete in the merchant acquiring business space? Like what are some of the core elements there?
Well, I mean, when you start looking at the competitive framework, I think everybody, we constantly hear that a lot of people are concerned about Square. And if you're, even if you're selling on this first data platform, they're concerned about Clover. Um, what we really allow you to do is provide more flexibility to merchants and compete against Square and Clover, not only by showing them probably one of the most attractive suite of terminals, but by offering them the feature and functionality and the ability to kind of grow in their platform. So Joey, as you just mentioned, you can start with a Poynt device and have it in a simple register environment. Then you can add eHopper and start to grow in sophistication. And then eventually, if as they grow, if they wanted to go to a more traditional type of point of sale, our platform continues to work with them. And not only at the store, you'll hear a little bit later. Our future work is starting to work on connected commerce and working on other points of payment. Already, we have a mobile-based application that merchants can use, but we're going to do a lot more in that area.
Absolutely. And of course, a lot of, I might sound like a broken record when I say, how valuable a lot of these applications are on the Poynt terminal in selling the different verticals. But what do you think makes the Poynt app market today so special? And the second part of that question is, as you guys continue to develop these applications, are you guys looking for more apps? Are you guys trying to get more third-party application partners, or are you kind of keeping in a small market? We'd love to kind of hear the forecast for the app market.
Well, we already have 6,500 developers who are building new solutions. And a day doesn't pass when I hear something from a new developer or even from an ISO and say, how can I help differentiate my product? And one of the ways is start participating in the App Store. And we really try to make it very easy for new developers to develop their own special app. You can simply go to our developer portal, and within a few minutes after completing some paperwork, we'll give you an emulator and you can start developing. You can get a test kit, and then we have a group of experts who can help you launch your app. Once you've launched your app, we enable you to continue to push updates and make refinements and improvements. So that what we're really doing in the App Store, I think, is we're decoupling regulation from innovation. So no longer do you have to really worry about a lot of the PCI-based requirements or recertifying your application. You're able to go out and do a lot of rapid innovation without that hassle. And so we're encouraging more and more people to develop something that's very special for them, help them differentiate their product from some others. Now, if you aren't a developer, there are a number of developers that will work with you to help you build your special app. You can reach out to us and we can give you some names.
Absolutely, and thanks for that, Bob. And what with Poynt, do you think they're going to develop more on the native software or put more time and effort into partnering with developers?
We're going to do both. I mean, first of all, we believe that we need to continue to innovate and develop, our own apps. That's the best way, actually, to make sure that our app store is the easiest to use and innovative in terms of that. But we work very actively with companies like eHopper, Talic, Mango Mint, and others in terms of developing their own special apps. In fact, there was an ISO recently that reached out and said, "Hey, I want to do my own cash discount app, and I want to follow with a surcharge app." So we put them together with a developer, and they're out there developing their own application. So we realize we can't develop special applications for every vertical, for every type of situation. And we want to encourage more and more developers to come in and help us build maybe that golf tee time application, or that special coffee shop app, or a special event app, something that we never would have thought of or would have had the time or the capability to address.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like your team's done a great job on staying on top of the native software, always coming out with new products. And then again, in parallel, there's a lot of great apps that are being developed every day. Like, again, we just introduced the pre-authorization bar tab app. That's going to be, that takes care of a whole vertical right there of bars. And, you can utilize that in many different ways with cafes and restaurants. And feel free, guys, if you have any questions for Bob, I can read them out to him. So feel free to write them in. Bob, I have another question for you. What new features and functionality are coming up next with Poynt? If I'm going to be at ATA next week, why should I come speak with the Poynt team? What are some things I should be excited about? What's kind of on the horizon for your team?
Sure. One of the things we're rolling out, I'm pretty excited about, is we're doing some improvements in the out-of-box experience. We're trying to make it easier and faster for merchants to get started with the Poynt app, and we've gone through a whole process review, and we're going to be releasing a new out-of-box experience, which we think will make it a lot easier to get started with the Poynt app. What we see, though, evolving in the marketplace is QR wallet support. There's Alipay, WeChat Pay, and Chase Pay, all using QR codes. And we're doing a lot in terms of ensuring that we can support QR codes. We see them very popular in some other countries like China. People aren't using contactless payments, they're using QR codes. We think as Chinese tourists and others come to this country, that's going to become important. Contactless support, we continue to evolve and build more in terms of contactless capability. Store and forward support, we keep on expanding, and we're working on some advanced tax solutions. Invoicing is a great app. I don't know, Joey, if you talked about this before, where you have the ability to send out bills. Least cost routing for debit, that you can help optimize the payment experience. And then, we're going to be doing more in terms of the loyalty app. Inventory management. Somebody mentioned that before. We're going to be expanding that feature. Working on a cloud-based register. And then we're looking at things like text-to-speech type of support. We think that's going to become a really, really important part. And then the part that really excites me is we're going to start doing some e-commerce integrations, so that you can offer more of an omni-channel type of experience off of our platform. And we were already built to be able to do this, but now we're starting to work more aggressively with some other processors and stuff like that to be able to offer that.
Absolutely. No, that's all very exciting. Guys, I have Bob's contact information there in the bottom right. Again, you'll see their booth 1712 at Mandalay Bay next week in Las Vegas. Again, we'll be there as well. We're really excited to connect with all of the different resellers that are going to be there. If you need to connect with us, again, outside the conference, feel free to reach out. And I know that Bob's been a great advocate for our team, our resellers. So if you feel like there's a strategic initiative that you have, you want to be building onto the Poynt platform, the Poynt cloud, reach out to the Bob and team, and we'll help out, and obviously getting you guys, in touch with the right people.
Right.
But Bob, I think that's.
Yeah, I'd just like to add one thing. If you're really interested in growing your business and you want a deeper dive or a deeper consultation, our team is available to work with Joey to, analyze your business and give you some tips on how you might be able to leverage the Poynt platform to make a competitive difference and win more business.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that both Bob and then Doug Berman from the Poynt team have helped me with a lot of, strategic initiatives with a lot of different payment companies that come in and say, hey, I'm selling ABC. how do I position this? How do I sell against Square? How do I sell against Clover? Reach out to us. This is stuff that we can help with. We have really good expertise and knowledge around. And so we want to make you guys competitive. And if you feel like, you're missing out, like there's a lot of people selling Poynt, but you just can't get a hold of it and can't figure it out, that's a great opportunity to reach out as well. Let us help guide you on what's working, how people are doing different pricing structures, what the market looks like and how people are being successful. We're very happy to help out. But Bob, thank you so much for your time. Really, really great having you on here and just having the reseller channel hear from you and appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Joey, and we greatly appreciate Boomtown's partnership and support. You do a great job.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bob. Really, really do appreciate it. Again, guys, his information is right down there in the lower right corner. I can make an introduction as well, but yeah, absolutely great to have this partnership. The Poynt team has been wonderful, the Boomtown, and we're doing everything we can to obviously increase sales through these resellers. So thanks a lot. Bob, I'm going to move on to, I got Damon Luke here. Damon, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you.
Hey, Damon, how are you, man?
Good. How you doing today?
Awesome. Well, I'm doing great. And obviously, thanks for joining. I wanted to get you in here. I love a lot of groups that continuously ask about the cash discount program on Poynt. And I know that you've kind of taken over cashdiscount.com. You've revamped this whole program. We have a lot of happy customers. But you also have a lot of great programs that are helping groups, identify where they can get involved with cash discount. I know there's been a lot of regulations and all these different, obviously different scenarios that have kind of, some teams have put the cash discount on hold, but, excited to have you here today and kind of talk about the state of cash discount and where we are.
No, I appreciate it, Joey. Thank you for having me on. And yeah, it's an exciting time. I mean, it really is. If you look back at any kind of situation like this where there's regulation, there's even some uncertainty, but there's opportunity. It makes for a really exciting time, and that's really where we're at. So, really a big part of what we're doing here at Cash Discount, cashdiscount.com, is it's really kind of a threefold thing. One, and our major focus is becoming a resource for all processors, ISOs, ISVs, merchants, everybody. It truly just a processor agnostic resource, and then the other part of it is the big part of it is our app that's on the Poynt terminal. And Bob loved hearing what he had to say about Poynt. We love working with Poynt, and we're excited because Poynt does really have a fantastic platform to build on, and so our app is really a pretty straightforward, basic app that allows any processor out there to onboard their merchant, get them up and running, and they participate in the processor's program. So it's not there's no fear of offloading somebody, a merchant onto somebody else's program, and then there goes business. Our focus is to enhance the relationship that you have with a merchant. So that's a little bit about us.
Absolutely.
And then we have a few other things going on there to drive traffic and help some processors out. But that's the basics of what we're doing here.
Thanks, Damon. What I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to ask Damon some questions, but feel free to contact him below the information before we kind of move on to some other slides. I just want to make sure that you see his contact information there. Give you a second to take that down. We've had a great success with your application. Again, it seems like you guys have put a lot of focus into it over the last few months, and there's no bugs. It's working. A lot of merchants are on it. And then I want to go over just kind of what the program looks like, and also not just the app, but kind of what cash discount looks like as a whole. So as I move on, one thing I have a question for you is, how are the cash discount programs going? Are they growing? Are they declining? What are you seeing across the marketplace, especially as being kind of the cash discount advocate?
Yeah, so they're definitely growing, and not just to say that because of our company here. They really are. When you talk to a lot of the processors out there, they're both feet in. They're moving ahead with it, and there's really two things that are going on behind the scenes, and there's a couple slides in here that we can jump into it more. But when you've got legislation behind you that says this is allowed and nobody can stand in your way, well, yeah, let's move forward on that. Now, obviously, Visa has some sway in that because of their influence, but what it comes down to is that there's really nothing that can stand in someone's way of being able to offer that discount. The other part to this, and I just wrote a blog article. There was some research that came out, and it showed that right now a lot of the merchants out in our economy, what they're seeing is that their revenues are heading in the right direction. Right, they're becoming more and more. I'm not going to say profitable because the revenues are up. The problem is costs are up as well, and so what that ends up being is lower dividends out, lower profits, and so cash discount programs are perfect. It's a very seamless, simple way for a processor to go to a merchant and say, hey, here's how we can increase your profits by doing this one little adjustment. We're not asking you to take on a whole different line of product or to move locations or to go e-commerce versus retail, brick and mortar. It's a very minor change. And now we see, 3.5%, 4%, whatever it is, increase in literally in their profits. So that there's a lot of momentum behind it right now, and it's a fun time.
And one of the things I want to focus on is, of course, we can go over all these slides. We were saying we can go over all these slides, and people obviously,
Sure.
Of course, understand what cash discount is and how it's working. And here's a little bit more detail for everybody, kind of on the pricing and what it looks like to get going. But my key question for today is, what kind of merchants are best fit for cash discount? What's working for your resellers?
Yeah, it's really broad when it comes down to it. It's anything from you got your gas stations, your service C-stores. You've got any kind of a restaurant, brick and mortar. If it's a coffee shop or anything like that. Really anything where if you automotive, that's one that comes up quite a bit. But really it's expanding out, and a lot of it is because it's becoming more common. People are if you look at the generation that's really coming into the workforce now, you got your 18, 19-year-olds on up into the 40s. We as a society, we've become more and more conditioned to paying service fees. Whether it's online stuff or it's whatever we're doing, we're more and more conditioned to doing that. And so there's a lot less opposition to it. And so really there's a lot of industries that are jumping into it saying, hey, you know what? I've got to offset some of these fees, or I need to increase my profits because my costs of goods are going up, or whatever the case may be. And so it's actually, we've traditionally seen a lot in those ones that I mentioned, restaurants, automotive, coffee shops. But now we're starting to branch out and see that in more and more different industries that are starting to grow up into the cash discount program.
Absolutely. And one thing to call out for the resellers is the cash discount logo in the top left. That's the app that we're talking about right now, Cash Discount by Cash Discount LLC. You can get it in the App Store today. As we just showed, it was about, what is it, $10 a month? About $9 or so?
Yeah, the merchant just pays the $10 a month, and that's it. There's no transaction fee to that. It's very familiar to what they know, so you guys can see on the screen there. You're not asking your merchants to relearn something new. It's really going in, and it automates that functionality so that they can go in and say, oh, are they swiping a card? Are they dipping it? Great. Then we just go ahead and run it as a charge. If they're going to pay cash, then we simply hit the cash button and off it goes. One thing that we've really worked on is making it very seamless and simple for the merchants, for their employees, so that we're not running into a situation where they're doing it incorrectly. And that's a big part of what we're focused on here at Cash Discount is let's watch what's going on. Let's understand the compliance side of it. Let's make sure that we're offering information and an app that is going to help those merchants stay in compliance so that there's no concern on your part or on the merchant's part, but that we can just move forward and do business.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I wanted to ask is, how do we as a processor or as a reseller, how do we know if our cash discount program is compliant?
Yeah, you guys, I'll just kind of throw the disclaimer out there. We're not a legal firm. We're not offering official legal advice. We have opinions based on what our research is in the industry, and as we talk to a lot of different processors, entities that have gone out and sought legal counsel. So what I guess the advice I'd give on that is do your research. Obviously, a lot of it's provided on our website at cashdiscount.com, but do your research. And if it certainly wouldn't hurt to go and have a legal opinion written up that you can stand with as you go out and offer this out. But in all reality, here's what it comes down to. The screen you've got up there, Joey, that's what it is. This is the Durbin Amendment that's telling us you can go ahead and move forward with offering a cash discount. Now, Visa, on the other hand, if you go to the next slide there, Joey, Visa's got their this article that they or this I guess I'm trying to remember what they want to call it, but kind of their opinion, right? Their rules that they released out back in October of last year. And so this is where it does sort of turn the tide a little bit, depending on how you're connected with them and the banks that you're working with. But ultimately, and we're taking this into account as well in our development. We're actually doing an overhaul right now on the app so that we can provide more opportunities to you as processors, so that you can say, well, we want to go ahead and run it this way. Oh, great. The Cash Discount app can handle it that way. Or we want to run it this way. Great. We can do it that way as well. And that way it does give you that flexibility to say, okay, based on what we're hearing from our upward channel, here's how we need to handle it. Great. We can still run the Cash Discount app. Everything goes smoothly. It's based on the platform of the Poynt terminal, so it's all handled there at the transaction level. And that way we're not messing up the accounting on the back end. So there's a lot of great things that we've built into that to make sure that merchants are able to participate in this, benefit from it, and not have to lose sleep at night.
And can you really help merchants eliminate all their fees? Do you think that's kind of hot air? People say that. What does that mean in your eyes?
Yeah, that's a great question, Joey. That's the goal, right? I mean, ultimately, we'd like to say, hey, guess what? No processing fees. What it comes down to, though, is as I've seen most processors, we're going to have a mixed bag of a monthly fee where it's anywhere from $20 to $40 to $80, where that's just the fee. That's all you're paying every month, and then what they're trying to do on the back end is make adjustments so that you really are not paying anything on the transaction level. Others, it's there's a little bit of a discrepancy based on how the calculation is done. So it might be that you're paying just a few pennies for a transaction, so it's going to add up to a little bit of something at the end of the month. But when we're talking a difference of I'm paying $500 a month, or in some cases maybe I'm paying $2,500 a month in processing fees. Well, now if I can get $2,500 down to $250, that's a significant savings that can go towards new equipment or hiring new staff or whatever the case may be, marketing, to grow the business and put that money back into the business. So regardless of whether a processor is able to get someone down to a true zero fee scenario, even if you're paying a little bit, there's so much meat on the bone for those merchants that it is always going to be an attractive option for them.
And I know that surcharge is illegal in some states, and there's obviously kind of a correlation between the two, cash discount and surcharge. I have my own way of explaining it pretty easily to my resellers. What's your kind of definition of why it's different? Why cash discount is different than a surcharge?
Yeah, the main thing with cash discount, one is it's legislated to be approved in all states. So that's the main backer behind it. Whereas surcharge, certain states have said no. We don't allow it, or yes, we do allow it. But right now, 100% across the country, all 50 states, good to go. And then it's also about how it's handled. So you've got like the signage and the receipts, and being very clear. And that's something else for you processors. be very clear how your signage is being done. Be very clear how the receipts are being done. That's something we're very conscious of, and make sure that it wouldn't hurt on your signage to have the card brands on there, have their logos. They're all on board with it. Visa didn't say no, we're not doing it. They just said we want to make sure that we've got a good standard so that we're not going Wild West and we're going to end up blowing this thing up. We want to make sure that we take care of it because it's a great opportunity for the merchants. So anyway, I hope that sheds a little bit of light on it. We'd love to address any questions you have about the app or about our site or the content, any of it. And we do have support for the app, so don't worry that you're going to send someone on a wild goose chase. If they have any kind of trouble with the app, if there's some question at all, they can contact us, and we'd love to work with your merchants and build that relationship that they have with you already.
And guys, I'm going to have Damon on again at 2 p.m. If anybody missed this session, they can come on. We're going to have an identical session, basically at 2 p.m. If anyone on your team wants to join, ask more questions. Damon, I really do appreciate your time today.
My pleasure.
If you have more questions for myself or Damon, Poynt Sales at goboomtown.com. That is the best email. Hits my team. But yeah, Damon, thanks so much. Really, really do appreciate it. And again, guys, feel free to bring more questions at 2 p.m. But we'll talk with everybody soon, and have a great day selling. And thanks everybody for joining. Thank you, Damon.
Thank you. Thanks, you guys.